Wat Phu Dan, also known as Wat Phu Dan Hai or Phu Dan Hai Buddhist Center, is a significant religious site in Kalasin province, northeastern Thailand. Situated atop a small mountain in Ban Kutwa, Kuchinarai district, this forest temple is renowned for its serene natural surroundings and distinctive architectural features. We begin at the base of the hill, where the first point of interest is a reclining Buddha and Buddhapada, the Buddha's footprint, carved into the natural rock face. Behind it is a shallow cavern with a horizontal, elongated rock shelf that holds several small Buddha statues. Halfway into the grotto, a hole in the ceiling lets sunlight filter through, revealing glimpses of the trees outside. Visitors have also left my slender wooden sticks or twigs symbolizing support for the enduring nature of Buddhism, offerings believed to bring prosperity while safeguarding the donor's destiny. Some have also built kong hin, a type of ken, human-made stacks of stones found in outdoor and wilderness settings. These structures serve as landmarks, symbolizing a lasting mark left by individuals to signify their presence or passage through a particular place. We now ascend further via a wooden staircase built adjacent to the hill, passing several more Buddhist carvings etched into the rock cliff. Here, a row of Buddha statues that are seated in various poses, including teaching, meditating, and touching the earth. The latter is known as Maravijaya, or victory over Mara, the evil one, symbolizing the moment when the Buddha attains enlightenment. An adjacent cavern features another reclining Buddha. It is one of the four main postures of the Buddha in iconography, most commonly representing his passing into nirvana. However, it can also depict an episode from the Buddha's life in which he miraculously enlarged himself to meet a haughty giant who refused to bow, believing his own stature made him superior. Aware of the giant's arrogance, the Buddha expanded his form, humbling the giant, who, overcome with shame, changed his attitude and eventually became a devoted follower. We now divert from the main path uphill, drawn by the sight of large Naga statues in the distance. However, once on the path, we are enticed and led to explore more rock formations and carvings along the way first. Since Buddha images are believed to radiate a fraction of the Buddha's enlightenment, they are often displayed in large numbers or grand sizes to reflect this energy onto anyone nearby. Walking between these rows of carved Buddha statues is said to bring about good karma and fortune. We now get our first closer look at the three giant Nagas we saw earlier from a distance. However, we leave them for now, planning to return shortly to investigate them in more detail. As we walk along the stone statues, we reflect on the immense effort that must have gone into creating this Buddha park. The intricate carvings, the scale of the figures, and the meticulous detail all speak to the dedication and craftsmanship required to bring such a grand vision to life. It's a humbling reminder of the commitment and reverence that inspired the creation of this sacred space. At the edge of this section, I discover more mycam sticks and walk past a dried bamboo forest, withered by the scorching sun, leaving behind brittle, yellowed stalks. Here, the Buddha is seated serenely atop the Mushalinda serpent, a large mythical Naga coiled beneath him. Around the corner, carved into the same boulder, is a Buddha statue in the Paralyaka pose, seated in a Western style with a monkey and an elephant positioned in front of him. The pose refers to a scene in Khao Sambe during the 10th year after the Buddha's enlightenment, when his disciples were quarreling among themselves, prompting the Buddha to retreat to the forest in search of peace. There, a monkey brought him honey to eat, and an elephant provided water to quench his thirst, symbolizing nature's support during times of inner turmoil. Next, a giant turtle, which in both Buddhism and Hinduism is a symbol of longevity, stability, and protection. In Buddhism, it represents the foundation of the universe, patience, and the balance of nature. Similarly, in Hindu mythology, the second avatar of Vishnu, Kuma, is a tortoise that supported the churning stick during the churning of the ocean of milk, symbolizing stability and balance. We are back at the three giant Nagas. At their center stands a golden lotus, which is dwarfed by the towering mythical serpents, considered guardians of wisdom. The lotus, symbolizing purity, enlightenment, and spiritual growth, is a central theme in Buddhism, where the unfolding flower represents the awakening of the mind and spirit. In Buddhism, the Naga is a guardian of the Buddha and protector of earthly waters, symbolizing fertility, steadfastness, wealth, and abundance. The Naga is believed to inhabit three realms: beneath the earth, in both still and flowing waters, and in the skies, where it controls rain. According to legend, an angel instructed the Nagas to play in Anodad Lake, a place in Himapan, so that water would spill over the edges and down to the human earth as rain, the primary natural source of water. During the dry season, it is believed that the Nagas fell asleep, and thus, people in Isan launched self-made rockets to awaken the Nagas and bring the rains back. In Thai iconography, the Naga is often portrayed in rainbow colors, representing the 7 races of Nagas and their association with water. Buddhist folklore tells of a Naga's deep reverence for the Buddha. Despite being forbidden from entering the monkhood, the Naga transformed into human form to be in the Buddha's presence. Its disguise was discovered, and though the Naga could not be ordained, it was instead given the task of guarding temples. This led to its symbolic representation on temple walls, often coiled around or emerging from the mouths of Makara figures at temple balustrades. Some traditions hold that monks and novices shave their heads to resemble Nagas. After this side visit, I head back to the main path that leads to the mountain's top, eager to uncover more fascinating features along the way. Atop the hill, beside the temple's Wihan, 2 guardian toe, mythological lions adorned with deer-like antlers stand at the entrance to the platform that holds several Buddha statues and other sacred structures. These majestic figures serve as vigilant protectors of the hallowed grounds. Pilgrims and visitors alike are welcomed here by several pristine white and golden Buddha statues as well as several more carved from sandstone, further enriching the sacred atmosphere of the site. Here, beneath the shade of a tree, a Khmer-style Naga-enthroned Buddha. Adjacent to it, several rows of similar Buddha statues, each sheltered by a Naga, are presented in a different style. This pose depicts an event during the 6th week after Siddhartha's enlightenment. As he traveled across various kingdoms to teach, he spent much of his time in meditation. One night, while meditating in a forest, a fierce storm arose. Seeing the Buddha exposed to the elements, the Naga king, Muchalinda, spread his multi-headed hood to shield him from the torrential downpour and coiled beneath him, lifting him above the rising floodwaters. At the top of the hill, an artificial waterfall cascades down from a sculpted rock formation. The thundering sound of water tumbling over the rugged surface echoes through the surroundings, creating a dramatic atmosphere. The name of the temple means rocky mountain plateau of earthen jars and refers to the naturally eroded landscape that features pothole-like formations, reminiscent of large water jars. Perched atop the man-made rock, a deity sits gracefully in the playful Lalatasana pose, one leg folded, the other dangling freely. In one hand, he holds a fluttering banner, a symbol of wisdom, while the other grasps a noose, an attribute of Varuna, the Vedic and Hindu deity of water and cosmic order, who wields it to bind those who violate cosmic law. Within the sculpted rock formation lies a grotto that serves as a mandapa, a sacred pavilion enshrining yet another footprint of the Buddha alongside several Buddha statues. Here, Dom's nephew Dio and his family sit gathered around the Buddhapada, a sunken footprint inlaid into the floor and protected by a roster to prevent anyone from falling into it. They are playfully tossing coins through the grids onto the sacred imprint, a gesture believed to bring good fortune and blessings. The clinking of the coins echoes softly through the grotto, a moment of joy mixed with devotion. It is the weekend and several other parents, along with their children, have come to explore the sacred site. The principal Buddha in the cave is a gilded Buddha, wearing a crown, royal attire, and jewels, an image of divine majesty and spiritual authority that reflects his royal status, not as a worldly ruler but as the supreme spiritual leader, the king of the Dhamma. Back outside, we follow a path that encircles the outer edges of the artificial mountain. The path is lined with niches displaying an array of Buddha statues in various poses, radiating peace and wisdom. On one side, large Nagas, the serpent-like deities, coil protectively around the edges of the path. This pathway allows visitors to perform an uttarawat, a circular procession around a temple, an important shrine, or a stupa, in an anti-clockwise procession with the temple or shrine on the left. Alternatively, they may perform a thaksinawat, a circular procession in a clockwise direction. So, we have made a full circle, and before moving on to the next area to explore, we take a moment to absorb the tranquil views around the artificial mountain. We can see the golden stupa atop the peak, its shimmering surface catching the light as a symbol of enlightenment. The sound of the thundering waterfall fills the air, cascading down the rocks with powerful force, creating a serene yet awe-inspiring contrast to the calm surroundings. On the side of the plateau, a staircase descends downward, leading to another cave nestled at the base of the artificial mountain. A path guides visitors toward the shadowed entrance, inviting exploration into the hidden recesses below. From here, we can see the full length of the multi-headed Naga, its sinuous body stretching along the outer edge of the path we walked on earlier. The cave looks barren, and its sparse atmosphere gives little away at first. But as we move deeper, we see walls embedded with imprints of hands. Rocky peaks form a reservoir, which is dry, but blue paint symbolizes water. On its edge lies a red marble ball, its smooth, round shape representing the eternal nature of existence and the journey towards spiritual enlightenment. Scattered platforms, intended for meditation and housing Buddha statues, add a sense of reverence to the space. At the far end of the cave sits a large white Buddha statue in the meditation pose, and an open window offers a breathtaking view of the surrounding forest below. The cave comes to a dead end, so we must retrace our steps and make our way back along the same path we entered. Soon, Dio sets off on his own, his movements a blend of unsteady excitement and cautious exploration, driven by a determination to discover the world around him. We walk back towards the staircase, which descends even further, and follow it to wherever it may lead, eager to uncover what lies ahead. We don't have to wait long to satisfy our curiosity, as from behind the handrail we get a glimpse of what lies below. A stunning array of enormous Buddhist sculptures carved into the natural rock and boulders, their majestic forms intricately woven into the landscape. But to reach them, we must continue along the path, which is lined with more rock-carved Buddhist images, and first leads us to yet another cliffside grotto. At its foot lies a reclining Buddha, a serene figure we will explore later, as the entrance of the overhanging cliff beckons us inside first. Here, the walls are adorned with large, intricate carvings of various figures. In the front, Mila Fu, a Chinese arahant monk, also known as the Smiling Buddha. Here, Dom teaches Dio the Apiwort, a Buddhist prostration performed 3 times to honor the 3 jewels, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, each round beginning and ending with a Y, a respectful gesture made by pressing the hands together. To the side is 1 seated Buddha and 5 statues of standing Buddhas arranged in various poses, each embodying different aspects of enlightenment and spiritual guidance. After this, we continue along the path that passes in front of the reclining Buddha, its tranquil form resting beneath the cliffside grotto. From there, the trail leads us further down, tracing the edges of the mountainside as we go. Dom picks up Dio to carry him down the staircase. When he sets him back down, Dio's tiny figure stands in stark contrast to the towering cliffs and massive stone carvings around him, his small body dwarfed by the vastness of his surroundings. From here, we descend along a path where carvings appear everywhere, etched into cliffs, scattered across boulders, and sometimes engraved in the very rocks beneath our feet. Each step reveals new details, as if the mountain itself were telling a sacred story in stone. Buddhist iconography is a rich and symbolic tradition that conveys teachings, stories, and spiritual ideals through visual forms. These representations follow established conventions and guidelines rooted in scripture, tradition, and cultural practice. These visual elements are therefore not merely decorative, but serve as pedagogical tools and objects of veneration, deeply rooted in canonical texts and ritual practices across the Buddhist world. Central to Buddhist iconography is the depiction of the Buddha himself. Traditionally, representations of the Buddha adhere to strict iconometric rules derived from ancient treatises and scriptural descriptions, most notably the 32 major and 80 minor marks that identify a great being. Among these are the Ushnisha, a cranial protuberance symbolizing wisdom, the Urna, a tuft or mark between the eyebrows, elongated earlobes, symbolizing royal origins and renunciation. The Buddha may also be represented through symbolic forms rather than anthropomorphic images, such as the Buddhapada, or footprint of the Buddha, which serves as a reminder of his earthly presence and teachings, and often includes a central Dharma chakra or wheel of law. The creation of a Buddha image is a sacred process requiring pure materials, ritual preparation by artisans, and concludes with a ceremony commonly referred to as Pithi Buk Pranate, which translates to the ceremony of opening the Buddha's eyes, a ritual performed as the final step in the consecration of a Buddha image, marking the moment it is considered spiritually awakened and worthy of veneration. Since I had fallen behind the others, I veered off the main path, cutting through the forest on a shortcut, and soon emerged onto the top platform of the hill. I walked over to meet Dom, who was carrying Dio in his arms, and surprised to see me, wondered how I had managed to get here before him. On our way out, I take a moment to look inside the temple's Vihan, or prayer hall, which houses a large Buddha statue seated in the Vitarka pose. This gesture, with one hand raised and the thumb and index finger touching to form a circle, symbolizes the transmission of teaching and intellectual discussion. It represents the Buddha imparting wisdom and guiding others along the path of understanding. As I am about to descend, my path crosses with a Thai Buddhist nun, referred to as a Mei Chi. Though not fully ordained like monks, Buddhist nuns follow the 8 precepts and dedicate their lives to meditation, Dhamma study, and service within temple communities. Like monks, they may also shave their heads, but dress in white robes, embodying purity and renunciation, rather than the orange robes of monks. Though it is only the beginning of March, the heat is already intense, and everyone is searching for ways to cool down. Dom and the others went on to see the section with the 3 giant Nagas that they had missed on their way up, while I made my way to a Sala-style open pavilion near the car park at mid-level. The pavilion offers a place to rest or wait for others, and although the cool breeze from the fans provided some relief from the heat, I decide to walk back down and meet the others there. Back at the bottom of the hill, I notice 2 strange round holes in the rock face, their precise symmetry suggesting they may be man-made. The holes seem out of place, raising questions about their origin and function. They evoke a sense of intrigue, reminiscent of similar unexplained features found in various parts of the world, adding to the mystique of ancient and unknown human activity that spans across cultures and continents. The others have now also descended via an alternate route, and soon we reunite with Dio, who is safely in the arms of his aunt.